Game updates, right. They drop, and suddenly everything feels different. Sometimes it's huge, sometimes it's just loads of small tweaks.
Oh, yeah. And trying to parse those official notes, it can feel like homework.
Definitely. Which is why we're here. You've given us the Black Desert Lab notes from May 23rd, 2025, straight from the test server.
Gives us a great peek behind the curtain, what they're planning.
So our mission for this deep dive,
Right.
cut through that technical stuff, pull out what really matters, and help you figure out what this update actually means for playing the game. Consider us your guides.
Yeah, and just got to say, the source reminds us, these are lab notes. Things could still change before the May 28th live patch.
Right, good point. But it gives us a really solid idea of their direction.
Absolutely. So let's jump in with, what feels like the headline act.
The big story conclusion.
Exactly. This patch marks the end of a really major chapter, something that's been building for, 5 years?
Wow, yeah.
The notes confirm the release of Yuso, the final Gladios.
And this isn't just like another boss fight. They're calling it the ultimate battle, wrapping up the whole Ederaxian saga.
And the big bad for this whole thing, Ilazra, the White Witch herself. Sounds pretty epic.
What I found really interesting, lore-wise, is how they're explicitly connecting this fight to Edania, the new demon realm they've been teasing.
Mm-hmm. The quest line, even if it's short, is like a bridge. And the notes even hint that the Old Mermaid quest had Edania's secrets too. Sneaky.
So it's an ending, but also a beginning.
Totally. The notes basically frame this Ilazra fight as the finale of Act 1 for Black Desert, setting up the next decade of the game. That's quite a statement.
Okay, that's huge context. So if you want to jump into this finale, there's a recommended quest line, right? The final Gladios.
Yep. And you need a few things first. Gotta have finished the previous Ederaxion main quest, Oshe Yorick, Ojua Yuvik, Yawun, be level 60 plus,
Okay.
and accept Edaya Viacion from your Black Spirit.
And they recommend doing the other Ederaxian stories first. Vimalkia, Sikrakia, all that.
Yeah, for better immersion, they suggest it. And the gear check. Recommended APDP is 330 AP, 420 DP.
Oof. Okay, so that's definitely endgame territory. Serious gear needed.
For sure. You get in via Turabreeze Gate in the ancient stone chamber. Takes you to a new spot called Red Heart.
And no Elvia version for this one.
Doesn't look like it. And the knowledge you get feeds into the Orzesia's adventure log too.
Now, what about the big reward, if you've done all the Ederaxian recommended quests?
Yes, the completionist bonus. You unlock a Family One's quest, Daiaye.
And that gives you...
The Ederaxian Final Choice box. This is pretty nice. You choose either a Primeval Origin Hammer or an Ancient Hammer.
Wow, the hammers. Okay, that's a huge incentive right there.
Definitely. Plus, you also get Dekima, Pledge Token 50, and Maha's Fragment 10, so good crafting mats too.
Nice. And beyond that one-time thing, there's a weekly quest too. For Gladios.
Right. Ojianair from Sol Magia in Red Heart.
And the rewards for that.
Pretty solid, repeatable stuff. Dekia's Rare Box 1, Trace of Nature 25, Ancient Spirit Dust 25, Dekima, Pledge Token 25, and Maha's Fragment 35.
Okay.
Plus, a chance at some really valuable stuff like improved compass parts, merchant ring fragments, or a golden desert tear.
And at Tekia's rare box, didn't it mention Dubarikas?
It did. Chance for 0 to 3rd Debrega accessories. So yeah, running that weekly could be very, very profitable, potentially, even separate from the story.
Good to know. And finally, some new titles to chase.
Yep. Gladios Champion for the quest, Inheritor of Dekia's Will for 1 win, Successor of the Fortresses for 5 wins. And you can still do the weekly, even without the recommended quest.
Okay, cool. Let's shift gears now from story stuff to something that affects, well, how you move in the game, combat mechanics.
Yeah, this was pretty big. They've adjusted the basic evasion movement, the little dash.
For how many classes?
Get this, 24 different classes.
24, wow. Okay, that's basically everyone. What's changing?
Well, the motion itself is kind of unified now. They want characters to travel a similar distance. And they've slightly increased the time you could rotate your camera during the evasion.
Ah, okay. And chaining into other skills.
Improved, apparently.
Yeah.
Smoother combos.
Yeah.
But only after the evasion animation actually finishes. So no canceling early into something else.
Gotcha. What about the mechanics? Stamina cost? Effects?
Stamina is now a flat 150 for everyone. And the big one, it now gives an iframe invincibility, but only against monsters for the whole animation.
Only monster. Okay, that's a really key detail. So it's more of a PvE dodge or maybe a repositioning tool in PvP?
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other effects that used to have are gone. And how far you go depends on your movement speed stat now.
How do you actually do this new evasion?
Either double tap a direction key or hold a direction key plus shift. except forward, that's still just double tap forward.
Right.
And if your class already has a special evasion on that same key combo, like its own unique skill, that skill takes priority.
Makes sense. Any specific class callouts?
Yeah, a few. Ninja and Kunoichi can't use Shuriken or Kunai Throw during it anymore.
Okay.
Musa and Maiwa lose super armor during it when they're in their Sane Sword stance. And Nova actually gets this standard evasion, but her special ones, like Orbital Descent, still have those overload limits. It's a major recalibration, really.
Definitely sounds like it. Affects the whole feel of combat for so many classes. Anything else on skills?
Yeah, one new skill for Deadeye. Connery's Gift. It's one of those Abyssal Legacy Magnus skills.
Okay. How do you get that one?
You need to finish the Magnus main quest line, get the Vein of the Abyss, Beleno's Knowledge, and then do a quick quest Magnus Abyssal Enlightenment from the Black Spirit.
So if you've already done Magnus on your family.
Should be super easy. Just grab the quest and complete it instantly, pretty much.
Nice. Easy unlock for Magnus veterans. Okay, let's transition now, maybe to competitive stuff. PvP revamps.
Sounds good. Arena Solaire first, the 3v3 ranked mode. It's getting a new season.
When's that running?
Starts May 28th, goes till July 2nd.
And the big rule change everyone was asking for.
It's in. No duplicate classes on the same team in ranked matches. Finally.
Yes. That should really shake up team comps. Much needed diversity.
Totally agree. Schedule's the same, basically. Ranked weekdays 17.00 to 25.000000, UTC +3. Weekends 13.00 to 25.0.
Yeah.
Practice is open most of the day. Score reset based on last season's rank. Standard stuff.
They tweaked the win streak bonus, though, right?
Yeah. Makes longer streaks more rewarding. +4 points at 3 wins, +7 from 6 wins, and a pretty hefty +13 from 11 wins onwards.
Really encourages trying to keep that momentum going. What about gear and AOS? Any changes there?
Oh yeah, some targeted adjustments to the presets. The Fierce Tireless Armor set, the evasion one, it's getting a pretty significant buff.
How significant are we talking?
Let me see. Helmet evasion goes from +83 bonus to +98. Gloves from +103 to +118. Similar bumps on armor and shoes. It's a noticeable increase in overall evasion.
Interesting. Might make evasion builds more viable against accuracy stackers in there?
Could do. And the Sikaru's Flame Crystal effect. That's changed too.
How so?
Used to be special attack damage +5% and all DR7. Now it's special attack damage +7.5%. So more damage.
Yep.
But it's all DR5 and also all evasion initiate.
So it hits both your defenses now, but gives more special attack damage. Bit more of a trade-off.
Exactly. And they've removed a couple of popular crystals from certain slots in the presets. Giant Viper, the accuracy one, is gone from gloves.
Okay.
And Jan Harpy, HP, and DR is gone from helmets.
So,
To less easy to stack those specific stats in those slots.
gotcha. Limits build options slightly. Anything else on AOS?
Just mentions of matchmaking improvements, trying to get closer to score gaps, and confirmation that no duplicate class rule is definitely coming to live.
All right. Moving over to Red Battlefield, the bigger scale PvP. What's happening there?
New map. They're swapping out Ruined Castle site for Capital Valencia.
Oh, interesting change of scenery. Player count changing too.
Yep, down from 30 max to 20 max per match. Needs at least 16 to accept for the match to start once 20 are found.
And something about combat affects near objectives.
Right. If you're fighting near an occupied zone, you get weaker, essentially. All damage reduction gets lowered by 220, down to a minimum of 550 DR,
Okay.
and all evasion gets lowered by 286, down to a minimum of 874 evasion. Basically, you get squishier in those hot zones.
So it discourages just sitting there. Encourages more movement.
Seems like the idea, yeah. More dynamic fights, maybe.
Okay, total change of pace now. Let's talk life skills in the economy. Lots happening there.
Oh yeah. First up, storage in wagons. Remember how Magnus lets you access storage from anywhere?
Made the old horse wagons feel a bit obsolete for just moving storage items.
Exactly. So they kept the regular wagons, but the trade wagons.
Yeah.
The ones for moving trade goods between towns. They've upped the limit from just 1 to 5.
Okay. That's much better.
And the big thing, you can now actually transport trade goods using these trade wagons.
Yeah.
They improved the UI too, so it only shows items you can transport that way.
That's a really solid QL improvement for traders. Makes sense.
Speaking of trade, and the sea, Magoria Lost Relics, getting a revamp.
I heard rumors about potentially big ticket items dropping now.
That's the idea. They've added gold keys. You use these on the relics for a chance at super valuable trade items, like Crow Merchant Guild's telescope, 500 mil silver, or Coral with Sunset Glow, 375 mil.
Whoa. Okay, that's some serious potential payout. Silver keys still work for the old stuff.
Yep. But here's the catch. The really big catch.
Uh-oh.
The chance of the relic itself even appearing out in the ocean. reduced by about 75%.
75%. Ouch. So finding the treasure spot is way harder now.
Massively harder. It shifts it from maybe some steady income to a much rarer, high-risk, high-reward lottery ticket kind of thing. Big change for ocean content.
Wow. Okay. What about hunting and gathering? Any QL there?
A few nice fixes. Those annoying bush thicket beetles in Narshin hunting ground, gone. They mess with rifle aim.
Oh, thank goodness.
And the bee swarms in Kamasovia Ash Forest hunting spot, also gone. Plus, they fixed an exploit with the Buried Trace's mysterious box interaction.
Good. And any buffs?
Small one, but nice. 1,000-year ginseng drop rate is up by 50%.
Every little bit helps.
All right.
Okay, now, for something that sounds like it could affect a lot of people, these Blessing of Mystic Beasts scrolls.
Yes, this is potentially huge. Basically, you know those buffs you get from placing stuffed hunting trophies in your house?
Yeah, the all AP one, the HP one, etc. Bit of a pain to go back home for them sometimes.
Exactly. Well, now you can craft consumable scrolls that give those same buffs.
Okay, that's convenient. But the really big deal is...
They're tradable on the central market. Min price 15 mil, max 60 mil silver, according to the notes.
Tradable! Wow. Okay, that changes everything for those buffs. Hunters can sell them directly. Non-hunters can just buy them.
Totally. Huge convenience factor. There are 5 types matching the furniture buffs. All AP plus 15, accuracy plus 20, max HP plus 100, damage reduction plus 15, evasion plus 20. Last 60 minutes, 10-second cooldown.
Important note, though, they don't stack with the actual furniture buffs, right?
Correct. Can't double dip, one or the other.
How do you make these scrolls?
Simple alchemy. You need a new item called Remnants of the Spirit. You get that by exchanging your old stuffed furniture, or things like Breath of Garmoth, with an NPC named Dalashing.
Ah, okay, so you trade in the furniture for the crafting mat.
Yep. Plus you need Mysterious Parchment, used to be Furniture Production Permit or Finest Hide, and then either Luminous Glimmering Crystals or high-quality leather. You can even craft 100 at once with adjusted mats.
And the exchange rate for the remnants varies?
Yeah, like basic taxidermy gives 3, breath items give 70, special stuffed ones give 150. It varies.
Okay, crucial deadline time. Any existing furniture buffs on your character?
Will be wiped during the May 28th maintenance, so use them or lose them before then.
Got it. Use those buffs. Any other related item changes?
Just a small one. Weasel stuffed decoration max price on the market doubled, 500K to 1 million silver.
Okay, now training. Heard there's a change here that might ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, this one could be controversial for trainers, the main thing. Tier 7 and Tier 8 wild horse spawn rates cut by 50%.
Oof. Halved. Why?
The notes say training profits went up a lot after a previous update, so this is for long-term balance and economic stability. They do acknowledge it might be disappointing.
Disappointing is probably an understatement for dedicated trainers. Finding those T7s and T8s is a big part of the gameplay loop and income. Having the spawns really impacts that.
Definitely. It'll likely make finding them harder and could affect horse market prices too.
Are they adding anything to soften the blow?
A couple of new permanent items, which is nice quality of life. First, basically a permanent capture rope.
Permanent rope. How do you get that?
Got to be Training Master 1 or higher, do a couple of promotion quests, then a final quest from Lorenzo Murray in Velia.
Okay, so it's an unlock for high-level trainers. What's the other item?
Yeoyo. Doe Deo. A permanent lump of raw sugar.
Nice. How do you get the permanent sugar?
For that one, you need to own Krogdella's trace already, then do a quest you get from the trace itself.
Ah, okay. So those permanent items are cool QOL, less inventory management, but probably don't fully make up for half the high-tier horse spawns income-wise.
Probably not, no. Right. But they did add some other small rope QOL things, like changing the discard key, using spacebar to climb while capturing, better movement after failure. Little things.
Right. Okay, moving on. Monsters and bosses.
Yep.
Any improvements there? Especially thinking about Ataraxian again.
Yes. Big convenience boost for the older Ataraxian dungeons.
Yeah.
Valmalkia, Sykrakia, and Uranikia.
Oh, what did they change? Running between those zones after each boss was a bit of a drag.
Exactly. So like they did in Orzakia, they added direct travel. Clear the boss in, say Vama, and you get an item to instantly warp to the Sikra boss area.
No way. Finally.
Yep. Clear Sikra, warp to Yoruna. Clear Yoruna, warp back to Vama's entrance area. It creates that nice loop. Cuts out so much travel time.
That is fantastic news for anyone grinding those dungeons. Huge QL win.
They updated the descriptions for the boss entry items to reflect this too, and they buffed some drops in Valmalkia. The Elvia Vaz Cold Thorn and regular Vaz Cold Thorn now drop 2 or 3, guaranteed, instead of just 1.
More thorns, nice.
And Kraton, the monster that drops boiling heart fragments, its spawn rate is doubled. Easier to get those key items.
Good stuff. Any other monster changes? Something about knowledge.
Oh yeah, this is big for completionists. You are now guaranteed to get the knowledge entry for any world boss, field boss, or guild boss if you land the last hit.
Guaranteed. No more RNG praying after dozens of kills.
Exactly. Huge relief for knowledge hunters. They also listed some bosses getting new knowledge entries added, like Vel, Khan, Radalola, Black Shadow. Makes getting those knowledge stat bonuses way more reliable.
Excellent. Okay, shifting to large-scale PvP again. Node and Siege Wars, what's changing?
Traps are getting some buffs. Potent poison trap damage is way up, 350 to 600 per tick, but they remove the dismount effect, so it's pure damage now.
Interesting trade-off. What about flame traps?
Explosion range increased by 50%, and they fixed summons being able to destroy traps. So traps should be more reliable defenses overall.
Okay. What about those big siege weapons?
The Ancient Weapon Wagon, where guilds get them. It spawns earlier now, 1 to 1.5 hours after the war starts, instead of 2 to 3 hours later.
Getting those big guns into play sooner, and the weapons themselves.
Do more damage to certain structures. Fences, gates, barricades take 45% more damage from them. And flame towers, watches, the big ones, take 100% more damage.
Whoa, so ancient weapons are now much, much better at taking down defenses, especially towers.
Seems like it. But on the other hand, lynch cannons, their damage against towers and watches is going down by like 25–40%, depending on the tower and war type.
Okay, so it looks like they want ancient weapons to be the main anti-tower tool, and lynch cannons less so.
That's what it looks like, yeah. Oh, and the practice lynch cannon doesn't knock people down anymore.
Gotcha. Okay, almost wrapping up. Any system tweaks or genuine fixes worth mentioning?
Couple of small system QL things. The long animation when you read a bookshelf won't stick around if you log out and back in. Optimization thing, apparently.
Okay.
And if you set pets and maids to be hidden in your house, that setting will actually stick now after you leave and come back. Minor, but nice.
And the notes mentioned a ton of other fixes, right? Like the usual bug squashing list.
Oh yeah, the fixes and changes section was massive. Visual glitches, costume issues, UI errors, quest bugs, item text, even little environment fixes. Shows they're constantly polishing things up.
Definitely. It's good to see that ongoing effort.
For sure. It highlights that continuous cycle of refining the game.
So let's try and sum this huge update up. I mean, wow. We got the finale of a massive 5-year story with Final Gladios and Alezra.
Yeah, and it's not just an ending. It's pointing straight towards Edania and the whole next decade of Black Desert.
Then there's that fundamental combat change, the evasion rework touching 24 classes. That's going to feel different. Plus the new Deadeye skill.
Right. And PvP gets shaken up. Arena of Solaire with no class dupes, new gear balance. Red Battlefield gets a new map, different player count, those zone debuffs, node war traps, and weapons adjusted.
And life skills. Huge changes there. More trade wagons, the revamped Magoria relics, rarer but potentially huge payouts, those hunting gathering fixes, and maybe the biggest daily impact, those tradable blessing of Mystic Beast scrolls.
Yeah, that's a game changer for buffs. Plus, the training adjustment, fewer T-78 horses, which will impact trainers, but offset slightly by those permanent ropes and sugar.
And don't forget the Aether Axiom convenience updates that boss travel is amazing. And guaranteed boss knowledge, finally.
It's such a mix, isn't it? Closing big chapters, tweaking core gameplay, rebalancing PvP, major life skill shifts, and lots of QOL. Something for almost everyone.
So, thinking about you listening right now, how's this going to change things for you in Black Desert? Are you going to dive into Gladios first, adapt to the new evasion, try out those hunting scrolls, maybe the AOS changes pull you back in?
It really feels like closing Act 1 and setting the stage.
Yeah.
All the talk of the next decade and Edania, it makes you wonder.
Yeah, it really does. Considering all of these clues, these hints about the future woven into this update, what part of Black Desert's next act are you most curious about seeing unfold? Definitely leaves you with something to think about.
Absolutely. And of course, the best way to find out more is to jump in when it goes live and dig through those full notes yourself. There's always more detail.